Nima had exactly 2 hours before strange men would arrive at her door to collect her like a package. Her stepfather had gambled away 500 million won to Seoul's most feared man, and instead of money, he'd offered something else. Her, his stepdaughter. Like she was an object he owned. The Silent King had accepted. Everyone in Seoul knew his name. Kang Hyun-woo, the man who controlled half the city from the shadows, the monster who made people disappear with a single word. And tonight, Nima would become his wife. She just didn't know that the monster would become her salvation, or that the marriage contract in her trembling hands would turn into the greatest love story Seoul had ever seen. Before we dive into how Nima survives her first night with the most dangerous man in Korea, do me a favor. Hit that like button if you're already hooked, and drop a comment telling me, could you marry a stranger to escape your family? Let's get into this story. The envelope landed on the table in front of me with a slap that made my hands shake. 500 million won, my stepfather said, his breath heavy with soju. That's what you're worth, apparently. I stared at the cream-colored paper, watching the edges flutter from the ceiling fan above us. My stepmother stood behind him, arms crossed, her face showing nothing. My stepbrother leaned against the kitchen counter, scrolling through his phone, like this was just another Tuesday. What are you talking about? My voice came out smaller than I wanted. The Silent King wants you, my stepfather said. He laughed, but it sounded wrong. Scared. I owe him money. A lot of money. And he's willing to take you instead. The room tilted. I gripped the edge of the table. You're selling me? Don't be dramatic, my stepmother cut in. We're giving you an opportunity. Do you know who Hyun-woo is? He owns half of Seoul. You'll live better than you ever could working those pathetic jobs of yours. My 3 jobs. The coffee shop at dawn, the convenience store in the afternoon, the restaurant at night. Every one I earned went to this family. The family that took me in after my mother died, then spent 10 years reminding me I owed them everything. I won't go, I said. My stepbrother finally looked up from his phone. You don't have a choice. His men are coming tonight. Tonight. The word hit me like cold water. You already agreed? My voice cracked. You already sold me like some object? Watch your tone, my stepfather snapped. We raised you, fed you, kept a roof over your head. This is how you repay us. I wanted to scream. I wanted to remind him that I'd been paying rent since I was 17, that I bought my own food, that the only thing they ever gave me was a mat in the corner of the storage room and years of reminders that I would never be real family. But I knew better. I'd learned years ago that fighting back only made things worse. When? I whispered. 8 o'clock. Pack whatever you want to take. My stepmother waved her hand at me. And wear something decent. Try not to embarrass us. It was 6:30. I stumbled to my room, if you could call it that. A closet, really, with barely enough space for my mat and a plastic drawer for my clothes. My whole life fit into one backpack. Some clothes, my mother's photo, the necklace she'd been wearing when she died. My hands wouldn't stop shaking as I packed. This couldn't be real. People didn't sell other people. Not in modern Seoul. Not in 2024. But the envelope on the table said otherwise, and I knew my stepfather's gambling debts were real. I'd heard the phone calls, the threats, the panic in his voice over the past months. I just never thought he'd solve his problem by giving me away. At 7:50, I sat on the couch with my backpack, watching the door. My stepfamily had disappeared to their rooms. Cowards, all of them. The knock came exactly at 8. My stepfather rushed out first, his face red and sweaty. He opened the door. 2 men in dark suits stood there. They looked normal, almost forgettable. The kind of men you'd pass on the street without a second glance. But something about the way they held themselves made my stomach turn. Miss Nima, one of them said. I stood on legs that felt like water. That's her, my stepfather said quickly. This settles my debt, right? We're clear? The man didn't even look at him. Miss Nima, please come with us. Wait, I said. My voice sounded strange. Where are we going? Mr. Kang is waiting. Mr. Kang, Hyun-woo, the Silent King of Seoul's underworld. I'd heard stories. Everyone had. He controlled everything from Gangnam to Itaewon. Clubs, businesses, politicians. People who crossed him disappeared. And now I belonged to him. If you resist, this becomes complicated, the second man said. His voice was soft, almost kind. Somehow that made it worse. I looked back at my stepfather. Some part of me, some stupid hopeful part, thought he might change his mind, might remember that my mother had loved him once. He couldn't meet my eyes. I hope you choke on the money, I said. Then I walked out the door. Before we go any further, do me a favor. If you're already hooked on Nima's story and want to see how she survives in the world of Seoul's most dangerous man, hit that like button right now. And drop a comment telling me, would you fight back or try to escape? I read every single one. The car was black and sleek, the kind that probably had bulletproof windows. I didn't want to think about why that mattered. The city lights blurred past as we drove through Seoul. I recognized the route. We were heading to Gangnam, to the part of the city where people like me only went to clean houses or serve food. My phone buzzed. A text from my stepbrother. Try to get more money from him. We could use a new car. I blocked his number. The car pulled into an underground garage beneath a tall building. Not the tallest, but the kind that didn't need to be. Money whispered here instead of shouting. We rode an elevator that didn't have buttons, just a keycard scanner. The numbers climbed. 20, 30, 40. The penthouse. Of course it was. The doors opened directly into an apartment, no hallway. And despite everything, despite the terror and anger and confusion, my breath caught. I'd never seen anything like it. The space stretched out in soft grays and whites, furniture that looked almost too perfect to use. Huge windows showed Seoul spread out below like scattered diamonds. Art on the walls that even I recognized. And I knew nothing about art. Wait here, one of the men said. They left me standing in the entrance, still holding my pathetic backpack. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. My legs hurt, but I was too afraid to sit down without permission. You can sit. The voice came from behind me. I spun around. He stood in a doorway I hadn't noticed, watching me. Tall, dark hair pushed back from his face, wearing simple black clothes that somehow made him look more dangerous than any suit could. Ha Hyun-woo, the silent king. He was younger than I expected, early 30s maybe, and handsome in a way that made me angry, because monsters shouldn't look like that. I prefer to stand, I said. His eyebrow lifted slightly. You're afraid I'll bite if you use my furniture. I'm afraid of what it means if I get comfortable here. Something flickered in his expression. Amusement? Interest? It vanished too quickly to tell. Nima, he said, walking closer. Not too close, I noticed. Keeping distance. Do you know why you're here? Because my stepfather is a gambling addict, and you're a loan shark. I prefer businessman. I'm sure you do. He almost smiled. Almost. You're braver than I expected. Or stupider, I shot back. I haven't decided yet. This time he did smile. Just a small curve of his mouth. He moved to a cabinet and pulled out 2 glasses, pouring water into both. He offered one to me. I didn't take it. It's water, not poison, he said. How would I know the difference? If I wanted you dead, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Fair point. I took the glass, hating that my hands shook. He sat down on the couch, gesturing for me to do the same. This time I did, perching on the edge like I might need to run. Your stepfather owed me 500 million won, Hyun-woo said. He offered you as payment. I accepted. Do you understand what that means? That you own me now? The bitterness in my voice was thick enough to taste. No. His voice was flat, matter of fact. It means we're going to make an agreement. I blinked. What? I don't own people, Nima. I employ them. Sometimes I control them. But slavery isn't good business. He set his glass down. So here's my offer. 1 year. You marry me. Live here. Play the role of my wife in public. In exchange, your stepfather's debt is cleared, and you receive 50 million won. My head spun. Marry you? Why? That's not your concern. I think it absolutely is my concern. His eyes narrowed slightly. I need a wife for business reasons. Appearance matters in my world. A family man is trusted more than a bachelor. So hire an actress. I did. You. I stood up, the glass sloshing water onto my hand. This is insane. I don't know you. I don't want to marry you. I don't want any of this. And yet here you are. He remained seated, calm. What's your alternative? Go back to your stepfamily? We both know how that ends. He was right, and I hated it. 1 year, I said slowly. Then what? Then you're free, with enough money to start over anywhere you want. New life, new name, if you prefer. I'll make sure your stepfamily never bothers you again. It sounded too good. Nothing was ever that simple. What's the catch? The catch is that my world is dangerous. Being my wife, even pretending to be, puts a target on your back. People will try to use you to get to me. You'll need to be careful, smart, obedient when it matters. Obedient, I repeated, tasting the word like poison. In public, he clarified. What you do in private is your business, as long as you're discreet. I sat back down, my mind racing. 1 year of my life for 50 million won and freedom. No more stepfamily. No more working myself to death just to survive. But at what cost? Do I have a choice? I asked quietly. Yes, Hyunwoo said, and something in his voice made me believe him. You can refuse. I'll clear your stepfather's debt anyway, and give you 10 million won to start fresh. You'll never hear from me again. I stared at him. Why would you do that? His expression shifted, became distant. Your mother once helped someone I cared about. Consider it returning a favor. My mother? The words hit me like electricity. You knew my mother? Indirectly. It's not important. He stood up. I need an answer, Nima. Will you agree to 1 year as my wife, or do you want the money and your freedom now? 10 million won would last me maybe 2 years if I was careful. Then what? Back to 3 jobs and hoping my stepfamily didn't find me? 50 million won was a lifetime. A future. A chance. If I agree, I said carefully, I want it in writing. A contract. Legal, of course. And my own room. My own space. You'll have the entire East Wing. And you don't. We're not. I struggled with the words. This isn't that kind of arrangement. I'm not interested in an unwilling woman, he said coldly. You're safe from me. Somehow that should have been comforting. Instead, it just felt clinical. 1 year, I said. Then I walk away. 1 year, he agreed. He held out his hand. I looked at it, this hand that controlled so much of Seoul's darkness. Then I reached out and shook it. His grip was firm but brief, professional. Welcome home, wife, he said. And just like that, my life as I knew it ended. The next morning, I woke up in a bed so soft I thought I was dreaming. Then I remembered. The apartment, the deal, the marriage. Hi Hyunwoo. I sat up, taking in the room around me. Huge, decorated in soft creams and light wood. My backpack sat in the corner, looking sad and out of place. Someone knocked on the door. Come in, I called, pulling the blanket up. A woman entered, maybe 50, with kind eyes and gray-streaked hair. She carried a tray with breakfast. Good morning, Miss Nima. I'm Mrs. Han. I manage the household. She set the tray on the bedside table. Mr. Kang asked me to make sure you're comfortable. Where is he? At work. He left at 6. I glanced at the clock. It was 9. I never slept until 9. He said to tell you that Min Jun will come by this afternoon with papers for you to sign. The marriage registration and contract. Mrs. Han smiled. Congratulations, by the way. Right. Congratulations on selling myself to a criminal. Thank you, I said instead. After she left, I picked at the breakfast. Toast, eggs, fruit that probably cost more than my daily wage at the coffee shop. My stomach was too twisted to eat much. I spent the morning exploring the apartment. It was even bigger than I'd thought. The East Wing Hyunwoo mentioned had 3 bedrooms, a bathroom with a tub the size of a small pool, and a sitting area. The main space had the kitchen, living room, dining room, and his office, which was locked. The West Wing was his. I didn't go there. At 2 o'clock, the door chimed. I opened it to find a man in his 40s, carrying a briefcase. He had a scar along his jaw and eyes that missed nothing. Miss Nima, I'm Minjun, Mr. Kang's right hand. He bowed slightly. May I come in? We sat at the dining table. He pulled out papers. So many papers. This is the marriage registration. You'll sign here and here. We've already processed it. The wedding is scheduled for 3 days from now. Small ceremony, just witnesses. 3 days. My hands felt numb. This is your contract with Mr. Kang. 1-year term. Renewable only by mutual agreement. Compensation of 50 million won. Paid upon completion. Separate accounts. But you'll have a card with a monthly allowance of 5 million won for personal expenses. 5 million won a month just to spend. That was more than I made in 6 months. If you violate the terms early, you forfeit the final payment, but keep what you've already received. If Mr. Kang violates the terms, you receive double. Min-jun looked up. He wanted to make sure you felt protected. How thoughtful, I said dryly. Min-jun's mouth twitched. He's more thoughtful than people believe. He bought me from my stepfather. He paid your stepfather's debt and offered you employment. There's a difference. There's a difference. I bit back a sharp response. What exactly does he expect from me? I asked instead. Attend events with him. Smile for photographs. Live here. Don't speak to media without approval. Don't betray his secrets. Min-jun's voice got harder on that last part. And don't run. He hates chasing people. What happens if I do? Let's not find out. I signed the papers. What choice did I have? After Min-jun left, I sat in the quiet apartment and tried not to think about what I'd just agreed to. 1 year. I could survive anything for 1 year. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Nima, sweetheart. My stepmother's sugary voice made my skin crawl. We heard about the wedding. We should be invited, don't you think? We're family. You sold me. We helped you find a better life. Really, you should be thanking us. I hung up. Then I blocked that number too. The wedding was a blur. A courthouse, a judge who clearly knew Hyun-woo, and 2 witnesses I'd never met. I wore a simple white dress that Mrs. Han bought for me. Hyun-woo wore black. Of course he did. I do, I said when asked. I do, Hyun-woo said. We didn't kiss, just signed more papers. Congratulations, the judge said, smiling like this was a real wedding, with real love. In the car afterward, Hyun-woo handed me a small box. What's this? Your ring. I forgot it this morning. I opened the box. A simple gold band with a single diamond. Beautiful. Expensive. Meaningless. I slid it onto my finger. It fit perfectly. How did you know my size? I'm very thorough, he said. We didn't speak the rest of the way home. Home. This place that wasn't mine, but somehow was now. That night, Mrs. Han made dinner for 2. Hyun-woo and I sat across from each other at the long table, the space between us feeling like an ocean. Tomorrow you start at the gallery, he said. What gallery? I own an art gallery in Samcheong-dong. You'll work there. Part of maintaining appearances. I don't know anything about art. You'll learn. The manager, Sua, will train you. He took a sip of wine. It's better if you're busy. Sitting here all day will drive you mad. He wasn't wrong. Fine, I said. Also, I've assigned someone to you. Jiwoo. She'll be your driver and bodyguard. I set down my fork. Bodyguard. You said I'd be safe. I said you'd be safe from me. The rest of Seoul is a different matter. His eyes met mine. You're my wife now, Nima. That makes you valuable to people who want to hurt me. The food in my stomach turned to lead. What have I gotten myself into? I whispered. For the first time, something like sympathy crossed his face. 1 year, he said quietly. Then you're free, I promise. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But promises from dangerous men rarely meant much, and I was just starting to understand exactly how dangerous Ha Hyun-woo really was. Jiwoo arrived the next morning, and she was nothing like I expected. Young, maybe my age, with short hair and a bright smile that seemed wrong for a bodyguard. Hi, you must be Nima. I'm so excited to work with you. She bounced on her heels. Boss says you need someone to show you around, keep you safe, all that stuff. I'm your girl. I stared at her. You're a bodyguard? 4th degree black belt, trained in 3 countries, and I can shoot the wings off a fly at 30 meters. Her smile widened. But yeah, I look like I should be selling cosmetics. I get that a lot. Despite everything, I almost smiled. The gallery was beautiful. Clean white walls, hardwood floors, art I didn't understand but could appreciate. Sua, the manager, was a woman in her 50s, with elegant clothes and a no-nonsense attitude. "You're here because boss wants you here," she said bluntly. "I don't care about that. While you're in my gallery, you work. Understand?" "Yes, ma'am." "Good. Let's start with basics." I spent the day learning about art movements, pricing, customer service, how to spot a serious buyer from a browser. My head swam with information, but I soaked it all up. It felt good to learn something new, to be busy, to feel almost normal. At lunch, Ji-woo took me to a small cafe nearby. "So," she said, dumping sugar into her coffee, "how are you handling everything?" "You mean the forced marriage to a crime boss?" "I mean the very complicated arranged marriage to a complicated man." She stirred her coffee. "Boss isn't as bad as people think. He's a criminal. He's a businessman, in a business that sometimes requires moral flexibility." Ji-woo shrugged. "Look, I've worked for him for 3 years. He's fair, protective of his people, and he's never lied to me, which is more than I can say for most men." "He bought me," I said flatly. "He paid a debt and offered you a job. There's a difference. There's that phrase again. I was getting really tired of it. Everyone keeps saying that. Because it's true." Ji-woo leaned forward. "Nima, listen. I know this is weird and scary, but you could have ended up somewhere so much worse. Boss will keep his word. 1 year, then you're free. Just try not to hate every second of it, okay?" I wanted to argue, but she was right about one thing. It could have been worse. The week passed in a strange rhythm. Work at the gallery during the day, home in the evening, dinner with Hyun-woo, or alone if he was busy. We barely spoke. He worked constantly, often disappearing for days. I had the apartment mostly to myself. It should have felt like freedom. Instead, it felt like waiting. Then came the party. "We're attending a charity gala tomorrow night," Hyun-woo said over dinner one evening. "It's important. Seoul's business and political leaders will be there. Do I have to?" "Yes, this is what I need you for." He studied me. "A stylist will come tomorrow afternoon. Hair, makeup, dress. Just smile and stay close to me." "Like a pet?" His jaw tightened. "Like my wife." The stylist transformed me into someone I barely recognized. Hair swept up, makeup that made my eyes huge, a dress in deep blue that fit like water. I looked elegant, rich, like I belonged in Ha Hyun-woo's world. It was completely fake. Hyun-woo appeared in a dark suit, no tie. He stopped when he saw me. "You look beautiful," he said. It was the first compliment he'd ever given me. I didn't know what to do with it. "Thank you," I mumbled. The gala was at a huge hotel in Gangnam. Camera flashes went off as we arrived. Hyun-woo kept his hand on my lower back, guiding me through the crowd. Everyone stared. "Who is she?" I heard someone whisper. "His wife, apparently. Married last week. Nobody even knew he was dating anyone. That's Hyun-woo for you. Always secrets." Inside, the ballroom glittered with chandeliers and diamonds and power. Hyun-woo introduced me to so many people I lost track of names. Business owners, politicians, people who smiled while their eyes calculated. "She's lovely," one woman said. "Where did you two meet?" "Through family," Hyun-woo said smoothly. "It was very sudden. When you know, you know." I smiled until my face hurt. Then I saw them across the room. My stepfamily. All 3 of them, dressed in new clothes, drinking expensive champagne. My blood went cold. "What are they doing here?" I hissed to Hyun-woo. He followed my gaze. His expression darkened. "I don't know. Stay here." "No." I grabbed his arm. "I don't want to talk to them. Please." But it was too late. My stepfather spotted us and started walking over, that fake smile plastered on his face. "Nima, sweetheart, and son-in-law." He tried to hug me. I stepped back. "Don't touch me." Now, is that any way to greet family?" He turned to Hyun-woo. "We should talk about future arrangements. Family should support each other, don't you think?" "You're not my family," I said. "We raised you," my stepmother cut in, appearing beside him. "Surely that's worth something." Perhaps a monthly allowance? Nothing huge. Just 5 million won or so. They wanted more money. Of course they did. Hyun-woo's voice cut through like ice. You were paid. That transaction is complete. But we're family now, my stepfather pressed. Surely you want to keep your wife's family comfortable. You sold her to me. That makes you a vendor, not family. Han-woo smiled, and it was terrifying. And I don't pay vendors twice. My stepbrother stepped forward, drunk and stupid. You think you're so tough. Everyone knows you're just a thug in expensive clothes. The room went quiet. People nearby stopped talking. Hyun-woo didn't move, didn't raise his voice, just looked at my stepbrother with eyes like winter. Security, he said calmly. 2 men appeared from nowhere. They took my stepbrother by the arms. Get them out, all 3. They're not welcome at any event I attend. Hyun-woo turned to my stepfather. If you contact my wife again, we'll have a different conversation, one you won't enjoy. You can't do this, my stepmother sputtered. We'll go to the media. We'll tell them how you stole our daughter. Please do. Hyun-woo's smile was sharp. I'm sure they'd love to hear about the gambling debts, the abuse, the sale. I have documentation of everything, with timestamps, video, audio. Would you like me to share it? My stepfather went pale. They were escorted out, my stepbrother still trying to yell threats until the doors closed. The room buzzed with whispers. I stood frozen, shaking. Hyun-woo's hand found mine, warm and steady. Breathe, he said quietly. I did. 1 breath, then another. I want to leave, I whispered. 5 more minutes. Show them you're fine. He was right. Running now would look weak. So I lifted my chin, squeezed his hand, and smiled like my heart wasn't trying to explode out of my chest. 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. But finally we walked out together, his hand still holding mine. In the car, I started crying. Huge, ugly sobs that I couldn't control. Hyun-woo didn't say anything, just handed me his handkerchief and let me fall apart. When I finally stopped, my voice was raw. Thank you. You don't have to thank me for protecting what's mine, he said. What's mine? The words should have felt possessive, wrong. Instead, for the first time since this all started, I felt something like safe. And that terrified me more than anything else. The next morning, I woke up to find a credit card on my nightstand with a note in sharp handwriting. For whatever you need, no limit, Hyun-woo. I stared at it like it might bite me. A credit card with no limit. I'd never had a credit card at all. Everything I owned had been bought with cash I'd earned through bloody hard work. This felt wrong. But also, I needed clothes. Real clothes, not the 3 outfits I'd been rotating. If I had to play the part of a rich man's wife, I couldn't keep wearing the same jeans. Ji-woo took me shopping in Cheongdam-dong, to stores I'd only ever walked past before. Go crazy, she said, grinning. Boss's orders. I can't just spend his money. Why not? You're doing a job. This is work equipment. She held up a designer dress. Think of it as a uniform. That logic was twisted, but somehow made sense. I tried on clothes that cost more than my old monthly salary. Each time I checked a price tag, my stomach flipped. But Ji-woo kept pushing hangers into my arms. Stop thinking like poor Nima, she said. You're Mrs. Kang now. Act like it. By the end of the day, I had enough clothes to fill the empty closet in my room. Dresses, casual wear, shoes, bags. It felt excessive and wonderful, and guilt-inducing all at once. Better? Ji-woo asked as we loaded shopping bags into the car. I feel like I robbed a bank. You married one instead. She winked. Way more legal. At home, I found Hyun-woo in his office. The door was open for once. He sat behind a huge desk, papers spread everywhere, phone pressed to his ear. He looked tired. When he saw me, he ended the call. Did you find everything you needed? I held up one of the shopping bags. I think I bought half of Seoul. Good. He leaned back in his chair. You'll need it. We have 3 more events this month. 3 more nights of smiling and pretending. Great. Can I ask you something? I said. Why me? You could have hired anyone. Someone who actually knows your world. He was quiet for a moment, his fingers drumming on the desk. Your mother's name was Park Min-ji, correct? My breath caught. Yes. How do you know that? She worked at a hospital 20 years ago. She helped a young boy who'd been hurt badly. Didn't ask questions. Just fixed him up and never reported it. His eyes met mine. That boy was my younger brother. The room tilted. Your brother? He died 2 years later. Different incident. But those extra years, I got them because of your mother's kindness. Hyun-woo's voice was flat, but something moved behind his eyes. When I saw your name attached to your stepfather's debt, I recognized it. I did some checking. Found out she'd passed. That you were alone with people who treated you like garbage. So this is charity? My voice came out sharp. You felt sorry for me? I felt like I owed a debt. He stood up. Your mother gave my brother time. I'm giving you a chance. That's all this is. And the wife thing, the marriage? I actually do need a wife. The timing worked out. He walked around the desk. Does it matter? You're here. The agreement stands. He was right. It shouldn't matter. But knowing he'd chosen me because of my mother made everything feel different. More complicated. Did you know her well? I asked quietly. No. I was 14. I just remember her being kind. He paused. She looked like you. Something in my chest cracked open. Thank you, I whispered, for telling me. He nodded, already turning back to his work. Conversation over. But as I left his office, I felt something shift between us. Maybe it was understanding. Maybe it was the first thread of connection in this strange arrangement. Maybe it was dangerous. The gallery became my refuge. Sua was demanding but fair, and I learned fast. How to talk to customers, how to display pieces, the difference between good art and great art. I actually enjoyed it. One afternoon, a man came in. 50s, expensive clothes, a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Welcome, I said automatically. Please let me know if you need anything. You must be the new Mrs. Kang, he said. Warning bells went off in my head. Can I help you find something? I'm Yang Tae-young, a business associate of your husband's. He walked slowly through the gallery, hands clasped behind his back. Interesting choice, marrying so suddenly. Very unlike Hyun-woo. I kept my face neutral like Hyun-woo had taught me. Sometimes the right person comes along unexpectedly. Indeed. He stopped in front of a painting, a dark landscape with storm clouds. Tell me, does he keep you informed about his business? Or does he keep you as decoration? The insult was casual, almost friendly. That made it worse. I'm just here to discuss art, Mr. Yang. If you'd like to discuss business, my husband has an office. Smart and beautiful. How refreshing. He turned to face me fully. Give Hyun-woo a message for me. Tell him the South remembers. Tell him debts always come due. Then he walked out. I immediately called Hyun-woo. Yang Tae-young was just here, I said when he answered. Silence. Then, are you hurt? No. He said weird things. About debts and the South remembering. I'm sending Ji-woo. Close the gallery early. Go home. His voice was hard. Now Nima. What's going on? Now. He hung up. Ji-woo arrived within minutes, her usual smile gone. Let's go. You're scaring me. Good. Be scared. Yang is bad news. She practically pushed me into the car. Boss should have warned you about him. At the apartment, Hyun-woo was waiting. He looked furious. Tell me exactly what he said. I repeated the conversation, word for word. His jaw clenched tighter with each sentence. This is my fault, he said finally. I should have increased security sooner. Who is he? The head of the Busan Yang family. They've been trying to expand into Seoul for years. He paced the room like a caged animal. We have history. Bad history. What kind of history? The kind that ends with people dead. He stopped, looking at me. You're not going back to the gallery. Not until this is settled. What? No. I like working there. I don't care. It's not safe. Anger flared hot in my chest. You don't get to lock me up. That wasn't part of our deal. The deal was 1 year. It doesn't work if you're kidnapped, or worse. So I'm supposed to just sit here, be a prisoner? You're supposed to be smart, he snapped. Yang doesn't make social calls. He was sending a message. And that message is that he knows about you and will use you to hurt me. Then maybe you should have thought about that before dragging me into your world, I shot back. We stared at each other, both breathing hard. 1 week, he said finally. Stay here 1 week while I handle this. Then we'll discuss the gallery. 3 days. 5. Deal. He nodded stiffly and walked away. I wanted to throw something. The 5 days dragged like 5 years. I was going crazy inside the apartment, beautiful as it was. Mrs. Han tried to keep me busy with cooking lessons. Ji-woo came over to watch movies. But I felt like a bird in a golden cage. On day 3, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Nima, darling. It's your stepmother. I should have hung up immediately. How did you get this number? We need to talk. About your husband's business. We have information he might want to keep quiet. You're blackmailing me now? We prefer to think of it as offering a service. 10 million won, and we stay silent about certain, shall we say, irregularities we've noticed. My hand tightened on the phone. What irregularities? Let's just say the marriage looks very suspicious. Very sudden. Almost like it was arranged to cover something up. Her voice dripped false sweetness. The media would have a field day, and I'm sure Hyun-woo's rivals would find it interesting too. You have nothing. Are you willing to bet on that? 10 million won is nothing to him. Just ask. We'll be in touch about where to send it. She hung up. I stood there shaking with rage. They'd already gotten 500 million won from selling me, and now they wanted more. I should tell Hyun-woo, but he already had Yang to deal with. And part of me, the stupid part, felt guilty, like I was the reason for these problems. That night at dinner, Hyun-woo noticed something was wrong. You're quiet. Just bored. Trapped inside. Remember? He sighed. 2 more days. What are you going to do about Yang? Handle it. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. He set down his fork. My business is separate from you. That's safer for both of us. Except when your business follows me to the gallery. Which is why you're not going back. I threw my napkin down. You can't keep me locked up forever. Watch me. I stood up. I'm going to my room. You're not eating. I lost my appetite. My room. I tried to calm down. He was protecting me. I knew that. But it felt like control, and I'd had enough people controlling my life. My phone buzzed. A text from the unknown number. 2 days, 10 million won. Or we go public. I deleted it. Then I made a decision I'd probably regret. The next morning, I told Mrs. Han I was meeting Ji-woo for lunch. Then I snuck out while Hyun-woo was in a meeting. I took a taxi to my stepfamily's apartment, the place I'd sworn never to return to. My stepfather answered the door, surprise crossing his face before that oily smile appeared. Nima, we weren't expecting you to deliver personally. I'm not delivering anything. I pushed past him into the apartment. It looked different. New furniture, new TV, expensive liquor on the counter, all bought with the money they got from selling me. My stepmother appeared from the bedroom. Did you bring the money? No. I brought a warning. I turned to face them both. Leave me alone. Leave Hyun-woo alone. You got your payment. That's the end. My stepbrother laughed from the couch. Or what? You'll tell your scary husband. We're counting on it. That's when we go to the press. You don't have anything. We have you, my stepmother said. Poor abused stepdaughter. Sold to a criminal. Forced to marry him. We even have the bank records showing the exact payment. How do you think that looks? My stomach sank. She was right. Twisted and wrong. But the optics were terrible. He'll destroy you, I said quietly. Maybe. But we'll destroy his reputation first. My stepfather moved closer. 10 million won. That's all we want. Then we disappear. Isn't your peace of mind worth that? I wanted to scream. To hit him. To burn this entire apartment down. Instead, I smiled. You know what? You're right. It's worth it. I'll get you the money. They looked surprised, pleased. Good girl, my stepmother said. Always knew you'd come around. I'll need 2 days to arrange it without Hyun-woo noticing. 2 days, my stepfather agreed. Then we're done. I left before I did something stupid. Outside, I called Ji-woo. Hey, what's up? I need your help. And you can't tell Hyun-woo. Pause. This is a terrible idea already. Probably. Are you in? She sighed. Where are you? Okay, I need to know something before we go further. Do you think Nima should tell Hyun-woo about the blackmail, or handle it herself? Drop your answer in the comments because this is about to get real complicated, real fast. And stick around, because what happens next is going to change everything. Ji-woo met me at a coffee shop. I explained everything. You went to see them alone? She looked horrified. Boss is going to lose his mind. That's why we're not telling him. Nima, I work for him. I can't keep secrets like this. Please. I grabbed her hand. I need to handle this myself. I need to prove I'm not helpless, that I can deal with my own problems. She studied my face. This isn't about proving anything. This is about you feeling guilty. Maybe? Does it matter? Yes. Because guilt makes people stupid. She stirred her coffee. But I get it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to handle this smart. Not behind boss's back, but not running to him, like you can't function without protection either. What do you mean? We gather evidence, record them making threats, then we have ammunition if they try anything. Ji-woo leaned forward. Your stepfamily is dumb and greedy. That's a useful combination. Hope flickered in my chest. You think it'll work? I think it's better than paying them off and hoping they stay bought. She grinned. Plus, I've been dying to do some actual spy work. Bodyguard duty is boring. Over the next day, we set up a plan. I'd meet my stepfamily again, this time with a hidden recorder Ji-woo would give me. Get them talking about the blackmail, the threats, everything. What if they search me? I asked. They won't. They're too confident. Too dumb. Ji-woo showed me the tiny device. This goes in your bra. They'd have to strip search you to find it. The thought made me nauseous, but I trusted her. The hard part was avoiding Hyun-woo. He noticed I was distracted. What's wrong? He asked over breakfast on day 5. Nothing. Just ready to leave the apartment again. His eyes narrowed. You're lying. I'm not. Nima. His voice went soft, which was somehow more intimidating than when he yelled. I can always tell when you're lying. Your left eye twitches. I forced myself not to touch my eye. It does not. It does. What's going on? Nothing. I'm fine. Can I go back to work tomorrow or not? He studied me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Tomorrow. But Ji-woo stays with you at all times. Deal. I escaped before he could ask more questions. That afternoon, I met my stepfamily at a restaurant they'd chosen. Expensive, paid for with my misery. The recorder was a small weight against my ribs. Nima, my stepfather greeted me like we were old friends. Do you have it? I need more time. Hyun-woo watches the accounts carefully. That's not our problem, my stepmother said coldly. I can get it. Just tell me again what you're threatening. I need to explain to him why I need the money, without telling him the truth. My stepbrother leaned forward. We'll tell everyone he bought you, that the marriage is fake, that he's using you for some illegal business cover. And you have proof? Bank records. The debt. Witnesses who saw you looking miserable at the wedding. My stepfather ticked off on his fingers. Plus, we'll embellish. Maybe say he threatened us. Maybe say you begged us for help. You'd lie? We'd do what we need to do, my stepmother said. Just like always. 10 million won makes all that go away. And if I pay, you'll really leave me alone? You promise? They all nodded, faces serious. Liars. All of them. Okay, I said. I'll have it by tomorrow. Good girl, my stepfather said. I left feeling dirty, but the recorder had caught everything. Ji-woo was waiting in the car. I handed her the device. Got it all? She plugged it into her phone, listened, then grinned. Perfect. They're idiots. Now what? Now we take this to boss and let him decide what to do with it. My stomach dropped. We have to tell him? Nima, you have evidence of blackmail and threats. This isn't about pride anymore. This is about keeping you safe. She turned to face me. He needs to know. She was right. I knew she was right. That didn't make it easier. At home, Hyun-woo was in his office. I knocked on the open door. Can we talk? He looked up from his computer. Of course. I sat down across from him, the weight of what I'd done pressing on my chest. I need to tell you something, and you're going to be mad. His expression went neutral. Careful. Go on. I told him everything. The blackmail calls. Going to see my stepfamily. The recording. With each word, his face got darker. When I finished, silence filled the room like poison. You went to see them alone, he said finally. His voice was too quiet. Yes. After Yang Tae-young threatened you. After I specifically told you to stay here where it's safe. I know. You put yourself in danger, kept secrets from me, and involved Ji-woo in deceiving me. He stood up. Do you understand how stupid that was? I was trying to handle my own problems, I said defensively. Your problems became my problems the moment you signed that contract. He slammed his hand on the desk, making me jump. You think I need a wife I have to constantly rescue? You think that's what I signed up for? I got evidence, I protested. I fixed it. You got lucky. He walked around the desk, and I'd never seen him this angry. What if they'd hurt you? What if Yang's people had been watching them? What if any number of things had gone wrong? But they didn't. That's not the point. He took a breath, visibly trying to calm down. I have enough enemies, Nima. I can't have my own wife working against me. I wasn't working against you. I was trying not to be a burden. By lying to me, by putting yourself at risk. He laughed, but it was bitter. You want to not be a burden? Trust me. Follow the rules I set. Let me protect you. That's all I ask. I'm not a child. Then stop acting like one. He turned away. Get out. I need to think. I stood on shaky legs. Hyunwoo. Out. I left, tears burning my eyes. In my room, I let myself cry. Not because he'd yelled, but because he was right. I had been stupid, reckless. I'd put Ji-woo at risk too. An hour later, someone knocked. I opened the door to find Hyunwoo standing there, looking tired. Can I come in? I nodded, stepping aside. He sat on the edge of my bed, elbows on his knees. I'm sorry I yelled, he said quietly. You had every right to. No, I was scared, and I took it out on you. He looked up at me. When Ji-woo told me where you'd gone, I thought about all the things that could go wrong, and it terrified me. Something in my chest loosened. I'm sorry too. I should have told you right away. Why didn't you? I sat down next to him, leaving space between us. Because everyone in my life has always made me feel like a problem to solve, and I didn't want you to see me that way too. He was quiet for a moment. Then he reached over and took my hand. His was warm, calloused. You're not a problem, Nima. You're my responsibility. There's a difference. Everyone keeps saying there's a difference about everything, I muttered. He almost smiled. Because there is. We sat there, hands linked, and something shifted. Something that felt dangerous and warm and inevitable. What are you going to do about my stepfamily? I asked. Let me worry about that. He squeezed my hand once, then let go. Just promise me something. What? No more secrets. If something happens, you tell me. Even if you think you can handle it alone. Okay, I promise. He stood to leave, then paused at the door. For what it's worth, you were brave today. Stupid, but brave. After he left, I touched the hand he'd held, still feeling the warmth. This was getting complicated. The next morning, my stepfamily's phones were disconnected. Their social media accounts vanished. When I nervously asked Hyunwoo about it, he just said, handled. I didn't ask for details. Things went back to normal, or what passed for normal in my new life. Work at the gallery, dinners with Hyunwoo, weekend events where we played the happy couple. Except it was getting harder to remember it was all pretend. The way he'd put his hand on my back to guide me through crowds. How he always made sure I ate enough at dinner. The small things, like remembering I hated strawberries and loved coffee. And the way he looked at me sometimes, when he thought I wasn't paying attention. Like I was something precious. 2 weeks after the blackmail incident, we attended another gala. This one was bigger, fancier. All of Seoul's elite would be there. I wore a red dress that made me feel powerful. Hyunwoo wore all black and looked unfairly handsome. Ready? He asked, offering his arm. As I'll ever be. The venue was incredible. A historic building with marble floors and artwork everywhere. We made our rounds. Hyunwoo introducing me to people whose names I'd only seen in newspapers. Then I saw him across the room. Yang Tae-young. watching us with a smile that made my skin crawl. "He's here," I whispered to Hyunwoo. "I know. Ignore him." But Yang had other plans. He walked straight over to us. "Hyunwoo, Mrs. Kang, how lovely to see you both." His eyes lingered on me. "You look radiant, my dear." "Thank you," I said stiffly. "I was just telling my son about you." Yang continued. "He's around your age, Nima. Very successful. If circumstances were different, I'd have introduced you too." The threat was subtle, but clear. Hyunwoo's hand tightened on my waist. "Circumstances aren't different," Hyunwoo said coldly. "She's my wife." Of course. For now." Yang's smile widened. "But things change, don't they? Marriages end, accidents happen." "Is that a threat?" I asked before I could stop myself. "It's an observation." Yang looked at me with mock sympathy. "You're very young to be involved in such complicated matters. I hope Hyunwoo is taking good care of you." "Better than you could imagine," I said sweetly. Something flickered in his eyes. Respect? Annoyance? Spirited. I like that. He turned to Hyunwoo. "We should talk business soon. There are opportunities in Busan that might interest you." "I'm not interested." "Pity." Yang nodded to us both. "Enjoy your evening." As he walked away, I realized I'd been holding my breath. "You okay?" Hyunwoo asked quietly. "I don't like him." "Good. Your instincts are working." He guided me toward the balcony. "Let's get some air." Outside, Seoul sparkled below us. The night was warm, the music from inside muffled and distant. "He's not going to give up, is he?" I said. "No, what does he want?" Hyunwoo leaned against the railing. "Territory, power, revenge for something that happened a long time ago." "What happened?" He was quiet so long I thought he wouldn't answer. His younger brother tried to expand into Seoul 5 years ago. It didn't end well. "You killed him?" "No, but I'm the reason he's in prison for life." Hyunwoo's voice was flat. "Yang blames me. He's not wrong." "Were you wrong? To do what you did?" "No. He would have started a war. People would have died. I stopped it the only way I could." He looked at me. "Does that scare you?" Honestly, it should have. But standing there with him, seeing the weight he carried, I just felt sad. "No," I said. "It makes me understand you better." Something in his expression softened. He reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. "You're different from what I expected," he said quietly. "What did you expect?" "Someone who'd hate me, who'd run the second the year was up." My heart beat faster. "And now?" "Now I'm not sure." His hand lingered near my face. "What about you? Do you still hate me?" The honest answer was complicated. A month ago, yes. Even 2 weeks ago, probably. But now, standing in the moonlight with his eyes on mine, I couldn't find hate anywhere in my heart. "No," I whispered. "I don't hate you." He stepped closer, close enough that I could smell his cologne, see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. "Nima," he said, and my name in his voice did something to my insides. "Yes, I want to kiss you, but only if you want me to." My breath stopped. Every logical part of my brain screamed that this was a bad idea, that falling for him would complicate everything, that in 11 months, I was supposed to walk away. But my heart didn't care about logic. "Yes," I breathed. He kissed me soft and careful, like I might break. His hand cupped my face, and I melted into him, into this moment that changed everything. When we pulled apart, his forehead rested against mine. "This is a terrible idea," he murmured. "The worst," I agreed. "We should stop." "Probably." Neither of us moved. "Nima, he started. Glass shattered behind us. We spun around to see the balcony door broken, 3 men in masks rushing toward us. Everything happened fast. Hyunwoo pushed me behind him. One man grabbed me anyway, his hand over my mouth. I bit down hard. He yelped and I ran. But another caught me, lifting me off my feet. "Let her go." Hyunwoo's voice was deadly calm. "Yang sends his regards," one of the men said. Then something hit Hyunwoo from behind, and he went down. I screamed, kicking and fighting. But they were dragging me toward the edge of the balcony, toward a rope hanging down. No. I grabbed the railing, holding on with everything I had. Someone pried at my fingers. Then gunshots. Not loud movie gunshots, but sharp cracks that made my ears ring. The men dropped me and ran. Security poured onto the balcony. I crawled to Hyun-woo, who was sitting up, blood trickling from his temple. "Are you hurt?" he asked immediately, hands checking me over. "I'm fine. You're bleeding." "It's nothing." He pulled me against him, holding tight. "You're okay. You're okay." I was shaking so hard I couldn't speak. Just held on to him, while chaos erupted around us. Yang had just declared war, and I was caught right in the middle of it. The hospital was too bright, too white, too full of questions I couldn't answer. Police wanted statements. Security wanted explanations. Hyun-woo's people formed a wall around us, phones constantly ringing. I sat in a private room while a doctor checked me over. Bruises on my arms where they'd grabbed me. A scrape on my knee from hitting the ground. Nothing serious. Hyun-woo had refused treatment until I'd been seen first. Now he sat next to me, a bandage on his head, his hand gripping mine like he might lose me if he let go. "We need to increase security," Min-jun said, pacing the small room. "Double the guards. Move her somewhere safe." "No," I said. Everyone looked at me. "I'm not hiding." "Nima," Hyun-woo started. "No. Yang wants me scared, wants me to run. I won't give him that." I stood up, ignoring my shaking legs. "What I want is to know how he knew we'd be on that balcony at that exact time." The room went quiet. Min-jun's expression darkened. "You think we have a leak?" "I think it's convenient that they knew exactly where to find us in a building with 300 people. Hyun-woo stood too, his eyes sharp despite the injury. "She's right. Start checking. Everyone who knew our schedule tonight." "Boss, that's dozens of people." "Then check dozens of people." His voice went cold. "Someone betrayed us. Find them." Over the next 3 days, Hyun-woo barely slept. He worked around the clock, tracking down the leak, while also preparing for whatever Yang might try next. I wasn't allowed to leave the apartment. This time, I didn't argue. Ji-woo stayed with me constantly, teaching me self-defense moves to burn off nervous energy. "Higher kick," she instructed. "Aim for the throat or nose." I kicked the practice pad she held. My form was sloppy, but improving. "Why didn't you teach me this before?" I panted. "You weren't ready before. Now you're angry. Anger is useful if you control it." She was right. I was angry. At Yang for attacking us. At whoever had leaked our location. At this whole situation. At myself for falling for Hyun-woo, when I'd promised to keep my heart safe. "Again," Ji-woo said. I kicked harder. On day 4, Min-jun came to the apartment looking grim. "We found the leak," he told Hyun-woo in the living room. I listened from the doorway, not hiding, but not interrupting. "Who?" "Sua." My heart dropped. The gallery manager. The woman who'd trained me. Been kind to me. "No," I said, stepping into the room. "That's impossible. She wouldn't." Min-jun pulled out his phone, showing us messages. "Sua," to an unknown number, detailing our schedule, our location at the gala, everything. "Yang's been paying her for 3 months, Min-jun said, "since before you two were even married." I felt sick. "Where is she?" Hyun-woo's voice was ice. "We have her. Waiting for your orders. I want to talk to her," I said. Both men looked at me. "Nima, that's not necessary," Hyun-woo said. "She betrayed me too. I want to know why." He studied my face, then nodded. "Bring her here." Sua arrived an hour later, escorted by 2 guards. She looked terrified, but defiant. "Sit," Hyun-woo ordered. She sat across from us, hands twisting in her lap. "Why?" I asked simply. "My son," she said quietly. "Yang has my son. He's in debt to them. They said they'd kill him if I didn't cooperate." Some of my anger deflated. "Why didn't you tell us?" Hyun-woo could have helped. I was afraid. Yang said if I told anyone, my son would die. Tears ran down her face. "I never wanted to hurt you, Nima. You were kind to me, but he's my child. I understood that. Hated it, but understood it." "Where's your son now?" Hyun-woo asked. "Busan. They're holding him there." Hyun-woo pulled out his phone, made a call. Send a team to Busan. I'm texting you an address. Extract one person, male, mid-20s. Bring him back unharmed. Sua's eyes went wide. What are you doing? Getting your son back. Then you're both leaving Seoul. New city, new names, new life. He leaned forward. But if you ever betray me again, if you ever contact Yang or anyone associated with him, I will find you. Understood? She nodded frantically. Thank you. Thank you. Don't thank me. Thank my wife. She's the only reason you're still breathing. After Sua was taken to a safe house to wait for her son, I turned to Ha Hyun-woo. You're really helping her? After she betrayed you? She was protecting her child. I understand that. He touched the bandage on his head. And you're right. I could have helped if she'd asked. This is partly my fault for not being someone she felt safe approaching. This man. This complicated, dangerous, surprisingly compassionate man. I was definitely falling for him. What now? I asked. Now we end this with Yang. Permanently. The next evening, Hyun-woo's phone rang. He answered, listened, then his face went completely blank. Put him on speaker, he said. Yang's voice filled the room, smooth and poisonous. Hyun-woo, I hope you're both recovered from your little incident. What do you want, Yang? To make a deal, I have something you'll find interesting. Or rather, someone. My blood went cold. I'm listening, Hyun-woo said carefully. Your wife's stepfather came to me with a fascinating story about how your marriage is fake, a business arrangement. He has proof. Bank records, witnesses, everything needed to destroy your reputation. I grabbed Hyun-woo's arm. He covered my hand with his. And? Hyun-woo's voice gave nothing away. And I'm willing to keep this quiet. For a price. You withdraw from Seoul. Give me territory from Gangnam to Itaewon. Do that, and your little secret stays buried. You're bluffing. Am I? Ask your wife about the contract she signed. The one specifying exactly 1 year of marriage for 50 million won. I've seen it. Her stepfather is very thorough when motivated. Hyun-woo's jaw clenched. How did he get that? Does it matter? What matters is what I do with it. Yang paused. You have 24 hours to decide. Territory for reputation. Your choice. The call ended. I stared at the phone in horror. How did my stepfather get the contract? It was in your safe. Someone gave it to him, Hyun-woo said quietly. Someone with access to this apartment. We both turned to look at the door where Mrs. Han had just appeared with tea. She froze, seeing our faces. How much did they pay you? Hyun-woo asked. Mrs. Han's face crumpled. My daughter needs surgery. 20 million won. I don't have it. Yang's people approached me, said they'd pay if I just took pictures of some papers. So you photographed our contract and sent it to them. I didn't know what it was for. I swear I didn't mean to hurt anyone. She set down the tea with shaking hands. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Get out, Hyun-woo said. Take your severance pay and leave. If I see you again, I won't be merciful. She fled. I stood there trying to process everything. My stepfamily had stolen our contract. Yang had it. Our fake marriage was about to be exposed. What are we going to do? I whispered. Hyun-woo pulled out his phone. We're going to war. The next 12 hours were chaos. Hyun-woo called in every favor, contacted every ally, built a strategy that I only partially understood. Min-jun worked the legal angle. Ji-woo coordinated security. Other people whose names I didn't know came and went with information, resources, plans. I felt useless until Hyun-woo pulled me into his office. I need you to trust me, he said. I do. Even if what I'm about to do seems crazy. What are you planning? He took a breath. I'm going to give Yang what he wants. My heart stopped. What? No. You can't just give up territory. I'm not. I'm going to make him think I am, while we execute something else. He pulled up documents on his computer. Your mother, Park Min-ji. I've been investigating her background. The sudden change in topic threw me. Why? Because something didn't add up. A hospital nurse doesn't just help injured criminals without questions, unless she has experience with that world. He turned the screen toward me. Your mother came from the Park family, one of the oldest, most powerful families in Korea. I stared at documents, photos, family trees, and there was my mother, young and beautiful, listed as Park Min-ji, eldest daughter. I don't understand. She was a nurse. We were poor. She ran away from an arranged marriage 26 years ago. The man she was supposed to marry was Yang Tae-young's older brother. The room spun. Yang's brother? She was supposed to unite the Park and Yang families. Instead, she disappeared, changed her name, married your father. Hyun-woo pulled up more documents. When your father died and she married your stepfather, the Park family disowned her completely, but they set up a trust for you. For me? You're the Park family heir, Nima. The trust is worth over 3 billion won. It becomes accessible when you turn 26 or get married. 3 billion won. I couldn't even comprehend that number. We've been married for weeks. Why am I just hearing this now? Because I wanted to verify everything first, and because I wasn't sure if you'd want this life. He stood up, taking my hands. The Park family is powerful, but complicated. Claiming your inheritance means entering their world. Politics, expectations, responsibilities. My head spun. And this helps us how? Because Yang doesn't know about the trust yet. Your stepfather doesn't know, but the Park family does. He smiled, sharp and dangerous. And they're very interested in meeting the granddaughter, who just married one of Seoul's most successful businessmen. Understanding dawned. You want to use my family against Yang. I want to give you the power to destroy him yourself. Hyun-woo pulled up more documents. The Park family hates Yang. He's been trying to marry into their circle for decades. If you claim your inheritance and stand with them, Yang loses all his leverage. The contract doesn't matter anymore, because our marriage becomes legitimate in every way. But it's not legitimate. It's still fake. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and my breath caught. Is it? He asked quietly. Before I could answer, his phone rang. Min-jun. Boss, we have a problem. Yang moved up his timeline. He's releasing the contract information tonight. We have 2 hours. Hyun-woo soared. Change of plans. Get the car ready. We're going to the Park estate. Now? Now. He grabbed my hand. Do you trust me? My heart pounded. Yes. Then let's go meet your family. The Park estate was enormous. Traditional Korean architecture, mixed with modern security. Guards everywhere. Cameras. Gates that probably cost more than most houses. We were escorted into a sitting room, where an elderly woman waited. She had my mother's eyes. Grandmother, Hyun-woo said, bowing. I stared. Grandmother. The woman stood, studying me with an intensity that made me want to hide. You look like Min-ji, she said finally. Exactly like her. You knew my mother. She was my daughter, and I lost her because I was stubborn and proud. She moved closer. I've been watching you, Nima, since you were a child, making sure you were safe even if I couldn't be part of your life. Tears burned my eyes. Why couldn't you? Your mother made me promise. She wanted you to have a normal life, away from this world. Her voice cracked. I honored that promise, even when she died, even when I saw how your stepfamily treated you. I honored it because it was her last wish. But you're breaking that promise now, I said, because you're no longer a child, and because you need family. She looked at Hyun-woo. Explain the situation. He did, quickly and efficiently. The marriage contract, Yang's threats, the timeline. When he finished, my grandmother smiled. It was not a kind smile. Yang Tae-young has been a thorn in my side for 30 years. It's time to remove thorns. She turned to me. Will you claim your inheritance? Stand with the Park family? It means accepting this world, all its darkness and light. I thought about my mother, who ran from this, who wanted me to be free. But I also thought about Hyun-woo, who'd protected me. Ji-woo, who'd become my friend. The life I was building that felt real for the first time ever. Yes, I said. I'll claim it. My grandmother nodded. Then let's make some calls. The next 2 hours were a masterclass in power. My grandmother contacted people, each conversation brief and devastating. Business partners withdrew from Yang. Politicians suddenly remembered investigations they'd shelved. Banks froze accounts. The Park family moved like a blade, precise and lethal. At exactly 9 o'clock, when Yang was supposed to release the contract, My grandmother held a press conference instead. I stood next to her, wearing clothes that had been my mother's, feeling like I was in a dream. I'm pleased to announce that my granddaughter, Park Nima, has returned to the family. She recently married Kang Hyun-woo in a union that honors both our families. My grandmother spoke with absolute authority. There have been malicious rumors spread by individuals seeking to profit from lies. Let me be clear. This marriage is legitimate, blessed, and will be protected by the full force of the Park family. Questions erupted. Cameras flashed. But my grandmother just smiled. That is all. Good evening. We left the reporters shouting behind us. In the car, I finally let myself shake. Is it over? I asked. Not yet, Hyun-woo said. Yang still has your stepfather. He'll try something else. He was right. At midnight, my stepfather called Hyun-woo. You think you've won? He slurred, clearly drunk. I'll tell everyone the truth, the real truth, that you bought her, that she's just property. Go ahead, Hyun-woo said calmly. See what happens. I will. I'll go to Yang. He'll protect me. Yang is currently being investigated by the tax authority, the police, and 3 separate government agencies. He can't protect himself. Hyun-woo's voice went cold. And you're wanted for questioning regarding the death of Park Min-ji. Silence on the other end. What are you talking about? My stepfather whispered. The car accident that killed Nima's mother. I had it re-investigated. Turns out you were drunk, driving, and you bribed someone to say you weren't there. Hyun-woo looked at me. You killed her, and then you made her daughter your slave for 10 years. I couldn't breathe. My stepfather killed my mother? You can't prove that, my stepfather said, but his voice shook. I can, and I will. The police are at your door right now. I suggest you answer. We heard pounding in the background, shouting. Then the call went dead. I sat frozen, everything crashing down on me. My mother, the accident, 10 years of abuse from the man who'd killed her. Nima, Hyun-woo said gently. I burst into tears. He pulled me against him and let me sob, his hand gentle on my hair. I've got you, he murmured. I've got you. Okay, before we get to the ending, I need to ask you something important. Has this story grabbed your heart? Do you want more stories like this? Then hit that subscribe button right now, because I post new stories every week. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's finish Nima and Hyun-woo's story. The next week was a blur of legal proceedings, police statements, and media attention. My stepfather was arrested. My stepmother and stepbrother fled Seoul, though Hyun-woo's people were tracking them. Yang's empire crumbled under investigation. Turned out when you looked closely at his businesses, everything was built on fraud and crime. And I became Park Nima officially, with access to wealth I'd never imagined, and a family I was still learning to know. My grandmother was strict but kind. She told me stories about my mother, showed me photos, helped me understand the woman who'd given up everything for love. She would be proud of you, she said one afternoon as we had tea in her garden. I'm not sure about that. I married for money, just a different kind of arrangement than she ran from. You married for survival, then you chose to stay for love, she smiled. That's different. Was it love? I'd been afraid to examine my feelings too closely, but I thought about Hyun-woo constantly. The way he smiled at me over breakfast, how he'd started teaching me about his businesses, including me in decisions. The nights we stayed up talking about everything and nothing. The way he looked at me like I was the only person in the world. 1 month after the gala attack, Hyun-woo asked me to meet him at the gallery. It had been closed since Sua left, but he'd been renovating it. I walked in to find it transformed. New art on the walls, soft lighting, music playing, and Hyun-woo in the center, wearing a suit that made my heart race. What's all this? I asked. We got married in a courthouse with strangers as witnesses. I wanted to give you something better. He held out his hand. Dance with me? I took his hand, and he pulled me close, swaying to the soft music. Nima, we have 8 months left on our contract, he said. My heart sank. I'd been trying not to think about that deadline. I know. I want to renegotiate. I looked up at him. What do you mean? I want forever. Not 1 year. Not a contract. Not an arrangement. His eyes were intense, vulnerable in a way I'd never seen. I want a real marriage. With you. If you'll have me. Tears blurred my vision. Ha Hyunwoo. I know I'm not easy. My world is dangerous and complicated. But I love you, Nima. I think I started loving you the night you told me you hoped your stepfather choked on the money. You were so fierce and broken and brave. I laughed through tears. That's a weird moment to fall in love. I'm a weird man. He cupped my face. Say yes, please. Yes, I whispered. Yes, I love you too. Yes to everything. He kissed me then. Deep and real and perfect. Different from the first kiss, because this one had no shadows. Just us in the future and love. When we pulled apart, he reached into his pocket. I got you a new ring. The other one was part of the contract. This one is just for us. The ring was beautiful. A simple band with our initials engraved inside. It's perfect, I said as he slid it on. You're perfect. He kissed me again. My wife. For real this time. For real, I agreed. We stayed in the gallery for hours, dancing and talking and planning. A real wedding for family and friends. A honeymoon somewhere with beaches. A future running businesses together, both legitimate and less so. A life. A real life. 6 months later, I stood in a traditional hanbok, surrounded by flowers and people I loved. My grandmother sat in the front row, crying. Jiwoo was my bridesmaid, grinning like she'd planned this all along. And Hyunwoo waited for me at the altar in traditional dress, looking nervous and happy and impossibly handsome. Ready? My grandmother asked, offering her arm to walk me down the aisle. More than ready. The ceremony was beautiful. Traditional vows mixed with personal ones we'd written. I promise to trust you, I said, to stand with you, to love you in your light and your darkness. I promise to protect you, Hyunwoo said, to honor you, to love you until my last breath and beyond. When the officiant pronounced us husband and wife, really and truly, the applause was deafening. Hyunwoo kissed me, and I kissed him back, tasting salt from happy tears. I love you, Mrs. Kang, he whispered. I love you too, I said. At the reception, I found Jiwoo sneaking extra cake. This is your fault, you know, I told her. What is? All of it. You told me to give him a chance. She grinned. And you're welcome. Do I get credit for this happiness or what? You get credit for being the best friend I never knew I needed. She hugged me tight. Right back at you, boss lady. Later, I stepped outside for air. The venue overlooked Seoul, the city spread out in lights below. Sneaking away from your own wedding? Hyunwoo appeared beside me. Just taking a moment. This time last year, I was working 3 jobs and sleeping on a mat in a storage closet. And now? Now I'm married to Seoul's most feared businessman. I'm a gallery owner, and I have more money than I know what to do with. I leaned against him. It's surreal. Regrets? He asked quietly. Not even one. I turned to face him. You gave me my life back, Hyunwoo. A life I didn't even know I could have. You did that yourself. I just gave you the opportunity. We make a good team. The best, he agreed. We stood there watching the city, his arms around me, and I thought about the girl I'd been, scared and alone, and convinced she'd never be more than what her stepfamily said she was. That girl was gone. In her place was a woman who knew her worth, who had family and love and a future that blazed bright. What are you thinking? Hyunwoo asked. That I'm glad my stepfather was a gambling addict. He laughed. That's dark, but true. If he hadn't owed you money, we never would have met. I prefer to think fate would have found a way. He kissed my temple. You were always meant to be mine, Nima. The universe just had to be creative about it. Is the scary Mafia boss getting romantic on me? Maybe. Is it working? I stood on my toes and kissed him. Definitely working. Music drifted from inside, along with laughter and celebration. We should get back, I said. One more minute. I want to remember this. You, me, Seoul, at our feet. The beginning of everything. The beginning, I agreed. I like the sound of that. 3 years later, I walked through the gallery with a clipboard, checking inventory. Business was booming. We'd expanded to 3 locations and I managed them all. My phone rang. Hi Hyun-woo. Hi, I answered, smiling automatically. How's your day? Busy. Good busy. The new exhibition is almost ready. Can you come home early? I have a surprise. What kind of surprise? The kind you have to see. Please? I'm being pathetic here. I laughed. Fine. Give me an hour. At home, Hyun-woo met me at the door, looking nervous and excited. Close your eyes, he said. Hyun-woo, please? I closed my eyes. He led me through the apartment to what sounded like the living room. Okay, open. I opened my eyes to see the room transformed into a nursery. Soft colors, a crib, toys, everything. What? I started, then saw the papers on the table. Adoption papers. I know we talked about kids someday, he said quickly, and I know you wanted to wait, but I was contacted by an agency. There's a little girl, 3 years old. Her parents died, and she has no family. And I thought, maybe. Yes, I said. Yes? Yes. Absolutely yes. I grabbed the papers, reading through them. A little girl named Hana, 3 years old. Big eyes and a shy smile in the photo. She's perfect, I whispered. We can meet her next week. See if it's a good fit, no pressure. I kissed him hard. You're going to be such a good dad. You think? I know. I looked around the nursery. When did you do all this? I've been working on it for a month. Ji-woo helped. He pulled me close. I want to give her everything we didn't have. Safety, love, a family that chooses her. We will, I promised. Together. Meeting Hana was love at first sight. She was tiny and scared, and so brave. When she held my hand and called me auntie, my heart melted completely. The adoption took 6 months. 6 months of visits and paperwork and waiting. But finally, we brought her home. This is your room, I told her, showing her the nursery Hyun-woo had prepared. Do you like it? She nodded, clutching a stuffed rabbit we'd given her. And this is your home, forever. No one will take you away or hurt you. You're safe here. Promise? She whispered. I promise. We both promise. I looked at Han-woo, who knelt down to her level. You're our daughter now, Hana. We'll always protect you. Always love you, okay? She considered this seriously. Then she hugged him. This tiny, fierce hug. And just like that, our family was complete. 5 years after that, I stood at my mother's grave with my grandmother and Hana, who was now 8 and full of questions. Tell me about her again, Hana said, touching the gravestone. She was kind and brave. She helped people even when it was hard. And she believed in love, even when the world told her not to. I set down fresh flowers. She would have loved you so much. Do you think she's watching us? Hana asked. I know she is, my grandmother said, and she's very proud. We stood there in comfortable silence, 3 generations of Park women. My phone buzzed. A text from Hyun-woo. Dinner is ready when you are. I made that thing Hana likes. Also, I love you. I smiled and typed back. On our way home. Love you too. Home. What a beautiful word. I'd gone from having nothing to having everything that mattered. Family, love, purpose, safety. The girl who'd been sold to a monster had become a woman who chose her own life. And that monster? He'd become the love of my story, the father of my child, my partner in everything. We drove back to the penthouse, Hana chattering about school, while my grandmother told stories about my mother. Hyun-woo met us at the door, pulling Hana into a hug and kissing my cheek. Good day? He asked. The best day, I said, because every day with them was the best day. We'd been forged in darkness, Hyun-woo and I, built from broken pieces and bad choices and desperation, but we'd created something beautiful, something light, a family, a life, a love story that started with a transaction and became everything. And I wouldn't change a single moment of it, not even the scary parts, especially not the scary parts, because they led me here, to him, to us, to home. Come on, Hyun-woo said, his hand finding mine like it always did. Dinner's getting cold. I laced my fingers through his and followed him inside, Hana running ahead, and my grandmother smiling at us both. This was my life now, and it was absolutely perfect. If this story touched your heart, Do me one last favor. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another story. Drop a comment telling me what part made you feel the most, and share this with someone who needs to hear that sometimes the darkest moments lead to the most beautiful beginnings. Thank you for listening to Nima and Hyunwoo's story. Until next time, remember that you're stronger than you think, and you deserve a love that chooses you every single day.